What's up, everybody? Harrison Singer here. Megan Simon. Megan, how's it going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Glad to hear that. And two very, 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 very special guests. We have T.Y Vegas and his wife, Rainey. Rainey, how's it going?
It's going good.
But the pair are just more than husband and wife. We'll get into all of that in just a second. They're also collab artists, you can say. But, I mean, T.Y. just dropped a tape fresh off the press. How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. I'm the most excited about this body of work than any other body of work. This is like probably my sixth project or fifth project, but yeah, it's
How long
dope.
you been
She
making
smoked
music?
me, by the way.
Yeah.
On the feature we got, Pressure.
Bodied on that
she
song?
smoked me. Yeah, it's all good though.
Look out for that track. Everyone, that album is called Vegas, Vegas, can be found on all platforms, Apple Music, Spotify. It's right in TY's bio at TYVEGA5 on Instagram. You can find him there. Find the link in his bio to listen on Apple Music, but it's on all platforms. And so you said 6 bodies of work.
Yeah.
How long you been making music, time-wise?
So I've been rapping since I was like 10, but like legit rapping since I was 10. Like had piles of notebook in my room, like getting in trouble in class for doing that instead of my work. But I've probably been recording since 2000. I think I recorded my first song in like 2009 or 2010, but consistently since like 2014, I've been recording.
Yeah. Who'd you kind of look at or hear and that made you like want to start rapping?
That's a good question. I think what made me start rapping is I was shy. Like when I was young, I didn't really talk to people.
Right.
I didn't really do nothing.
Right.
So in my mind, I was just like, it started off as just like writing, like not music, just writing like essays or whatever, just writing for mad long, whatever was on my mind. And then it turned into poetry kind of.
Yeah.
And then as I got a little older, I started getting like more aggressive and started growing into myself. So it turned into rap then.
Absolutely.
And by that time, I was just so used to doing it that I didn't realize how far ahead I was. Like not like talent-wise, but in terms of like consistency and doing it.
But once you got to like the stage of consistency, like what artists like influenced you? So like, you know, once you realize like, okay, there might be something here, like what artists like kind of helped you develop your sound?
Jada. Hands down. Hated Jada, hands down. Like I listened to like Nas was my favorite rapper for a long time. And I listened to a lot of DMX too.
Absolutely.
But like when the consistency started rolling in, it was Kiss and 50 Cent.
Okay.
Yeah, like 50. I thought I was 50 for mad long. mad skinny with the white beater and the headband.
It's funny.
Like yeah, it was bad.
50 Cent was. I think 50 Cent was like for me the first rapper like I really ever listened to and was like, I'm gonna start listening to rap music. This was
50. You know, 50 like
different.
I don't think people understand how dominant he was when it was his turn.
No one messed with that man.
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
Listen to nobody else for mad long.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the project that dropped today. Like, I mean, 14 songs, all of which, you know, starting with the tribute to your dad, Garcia. I mean, each one kind of holds its own meaning and definitely something each one to be proud of. But kind of take us through, I guess, song to song or stuff that kind of you can highlight, sticks out for you.
So I started recording it in like August. And when I was recording it, it wasn't even, it's crazy that it turned out to be what it is because it wasn't that. Like at first, it was just like, I have like 5 projects before this one. So it wasn't even supposed to be an album. And I still don't even really call it an album because I don't really want to say I put out an album until I get on a major label. So everything, I just call things EPs now. But I was supposed to drop this first in January. January 20th, I was supposed to drop it. But when I pushed it through the distributors, they didn't clear it because there's a song, the first song, my mom was on it. Like she was on a skit. Like, I called her when I was in the studio and she talked on it. And they didn't clear it because like, you know, it's a big thing with like samples and stuff. They flag it. So, but I couldn't really prove that it wasn't something from a movie. So I had to kind of take it off. And then,
That sucks.
But by that being pushed back like that, I'm happy because the last like 4 or 5 songs wasn't even on there. It was only like 10 songs on it or 9 songs, including the skit. But I named it after myself because like when people do self-titled projects, I feel like it's the deepest. Like you open up the most and you let your fans get like a glimpse in your mind. So I think that's why I'm so proud of it. So like just from the beginning to the end, you can kind of hear what's been going on in my life, because that's really all it's about.
Sure.
Like the beginning, like the tribute to my dad, he died in 2012. So I always try to fit him onto my project somehow, even though he's not here, because he made music too. So I can just go back and find skits.
Yeah.
And then the first actual song I did like for my mom. And then it kind of just, I don't know, I can't even really explain it. It kind of just transitions into like the different things I've experienced and the different feels I've been feeling for these last couple months. So if you listen to it, or when you listen to it, you're gonna know, like, this isn't just, he didn't just put on a beat and rap.
Yeah.
Like everything was kind of like technical.
One thing too that stands out is starting with that very first track and that tribute track to Garcia, and then the track with the woman who's sitting next to you.
Yeah.
That family element of things, right? Like just incorporating. There's a difference between showing love to your family, whether it's inside or outside. Oftentimes outside making music, but then to like have that be like a dominant presence in the bodies of work and the music. Like that's, I mean, where does that come into play and how it's prioritized for you?
Well, I'm definitely a big family guy. Like I'm very big on trying to stay in touch with my family, but I think the easiest way to answer that is, when you do music, what you're supposed to do is give them you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not hard to give them you. Like if you're being authentic to yourself, then that's gonna show in your music.
Absolutely.
Like, so I try to center my music around like my actual life, like the things I've been through, because I think a lot of people might have trouble making music because they try to pick things that they're not really familiar with. You get what I'm saying? But every day I live and speak to my family, and I'm around people that's important to me, so it's kind of easy to incorporate them.
That's great.
But the track with her, it's crazy how it came up. I didn't know if you was gonna ask about it or not, but
bring your wife on a track in the studio.
We was actually in California. We went to California for a family reunion last summer.
Absolutely.
And it was no way. I'm not going to California for the first time and not going to the studio. It's not happening.
Right.
So we fit a studio session into the time we were there, and she came with me, and like I knew that she could rap. I knew that already, but she surprised me. She's like, "Yo, I want to get on that song," and she never said nothing like that before. So it was dope how that came out. Like,
that's crazy. Like, what was it, Rainey, that like made you wanna just like, I gotta hop on this? Like,
just being in that moment and like watching, like just being there, like being in California and the vibe he had from being there and being in a different environment. I just felt like, I don't know, it was just something different about that track. And so when I was just sitting there watching it be made, I was just like, yeah, I gotta
hop in. All right, let me get in there. That's great. Well, that's awesome.
I was excited.
That's definitely great. So you mentioned the homage to your family, and another I think big example of that is just the whole like, I guess you can call it group, but just like entity of the whole like Vegas gang and the whole thing. So it started with your dad Garcia, and then since then, I mean, you branched it into something. You really carried on his legacy. How'd you do that?
So my dad was in jail for like the first. Well, he went to jail after I was born, but I was like really young. I was like 3, and then he didn't get out of jail until I was like 14.
Right.
So by that time, you can imagine like from being 3 to 14, that's when you're like developing into who you want to be.
Sure.
So when he got out of jail, I didn't even know he made music. I had no idea.
Oh.
So we started hanging out or whatever, and on my 18th birthday, I sent him a song that I recorded when I was in my dorm room in college, and I'm like, yo, listen to it. So and like 2 hours later, he sends it back with his verse on it. I still don't know how he did it, because I had my verse, the hook, my verse, and then the hook, and the song was over. Yeah. But he moved my second verse and put his verse there and put my second verse at the end. I don't know how he did it, but
man of many talents.
After that, he started calling me T.Y Vegas, and at first I wasn't even trying to jack it. I'm like, bro, stop calling me that. That's not my name. I'm T.Y. Like that's it. But then we took a picture. One day he came in town and didn't even tell me he was here. Okay. He was at Wings Over Syracuse. I'm ordering food and he walks in. I'm like, you stalking me, bro? Like, so he pull up and he takes a picture, and it's still on Facebook to this day. He take the picture and he said, me and T.Y Vegas. Now after that,
gotta keep that.
Yeah, exactly. I just ran with it after that. And, me and Nohaj made Vegas Gang.
Right.
But as Nohaj grew into his own artist, we started. Like, we're brothers, so I'm gonna put that out there first. We brothers, so we have issues that other people don't have. Like, not to say we don't get along, but we're brothers, so you know how it is with brothers.
Fight more than friends.
Yeah, exactly.
For his words, I think.
Shout out to Nohaj, love my brother. But he had a different vision for Vegas Gang that I had for Long Live Vegas, which is my label now.
Right.
So we have two different labels, but it's still under Vegas Gang. Like it still has the same basic
Same
meaning.
tree, all
but
under
we live in different cities too, you know. So he got his group of friends, I got my group of friends.
Right.
I mean, but we definitely come together. Like we got music videos together.
Absolutely.
We're doing a mixtape right now together.
Absolutely.
I mean, so
I've heard that all on the SoundCloud.
Yeah.
That's definitely some fire stuff, man. That's definitely great. So one thing too, you mentioned recording in your college dorm room, right?
Yeah.
So in college, when you first got there, you were a college athlete, right? You played some football.
Right.
So
right.
what was that whole experience like?
I thought I was better than I was. But when I got out of high school, I played football and ran track.
Okay.
And I got a scholarship to a D2 school in Ohio for
Sure.
track. But me, I'm being hard-headed. I'm like, nah, I want to play football. So I didn't take it. So I went to Morrisville State, and I was playing football there.
Right.
I didn't really get burned like that. I got in a couple times.
Right.
I mean, I did all right, though. But,
Yeah.
but then,
Taking the track scholarship.
I still ran track there, though. I ran track there.
What
But the
events
track,
did you run?
but it was,
What events did you
I
run?
ran 100. I ran everything under 300 meters. Anything under 300.
I was a long distance type person.
I couldn't do it. Yo, my coach told me to run the 400 one time. I was like, yo, if you ever make me do that again, I'll quit. And he ain't make me do it no more. Yeah, so then I actually had a partial scholarship to SU, but they took it back from me because I pulled my hamstring, and that was my second time pulling the same hamstring, and they said it was a liability. So
That sucks.
it
You
didn't
play
work.
corner, right?
Yeah.
Cornerback?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
corner, running back, and kick return. I only really got in on kick return though.
Yeah. You taking punts and kicks and everything? Taking any back to the house?
I took one back.
Okay.
I took one.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What'd you do when you got in the end zone? Any celebration? You give the ball to the ref?
Honestly, I was too hyped. I didn't even do nothing. I just dropped the
give
ball
it
and
all
walked
to-
off the field. I
Yeah.
didn't even do nothing.
Damn.
I knew. I'm like, yo, if I celebrate now, my coach was a stickler. He wouldn't have put me back in no more.
Right.
And I was a freshman. He wasn't trying to hear nothing.
So you went to Henniger High School, right?
Yep.
Locally. So did you? Obviously, you played football there as
Right.
well. What was that kind of whole experience? Like, how much were you rapping? What kind of kid were you in high school?
All right, so, it's crazy because I actually was dancing in high school. I rapped too.
Okay.
I was actually dancing. Like,
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of Get Light. Yeah, I mean that's all I was doing. I wasn't trying to do that pop locking or nothing. But in high school it was kind of the same story. Like I wanted to play football, but I was really elite in track. And my football coach and my track coach was the same person.
Okay.
So during football season, he wasn't even really letting me do much because he didn't want me to get hurt
Right.
for track because not to brag or nothing, but I was ranked in the state for track. So he was not trying to. And I already pulled my hamstring once in high school, so he wasn't trying to let me really do nothing. But it was cool. I was doing a lot of rapping. Like people in school, I'll skip my third block class to go to all three lunches, and we'll just take a table over and be beating on the tables, rapping. I mean, getting kicked out of lunch, going to ISS, and then starting to cipher back up again. But yeah, I was real sports oriented in high school though. Like the music didn't really come out yet. Like people knew I was rapping and I was doing it, but I wasn't really recording yet. I wasn't really shooting videos yet or nothing like that.
Yeah, just the humble beginnings, I guess you would call it.
Exactly. I never thought it would be this. Like I'm not where I want to be yet. Like it's not like I'm signed or anything, but I never thought it'd be like what it is now. I thought I was going to the Olympics or something. For real. Like
It's funny. Yeah, no, absolutely. So another thing that, I'm kind of curious to know is I was going to ask you, outside of making music, what are things that, T.Y can often be found doing? I guess, now not playing them anymore, but following sports is probably something you'd be able to say. So you're a Giants fan, right?
yeah, we suck right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold you. I probably watched 2 games this season because it was just so disappointing.
It's tough
And I
right
like the
now.
Knicks too, and we're just as bad.
man, no.
We've been
Don't even
trash
talk
for
about the
30
Knicks.
years. It's crazy.
That's a rough
I've
go.
been considering switching teams, but I can't find myself to do it. I can't do it.
I've been watching a few games across town. I've been watching some Nets games. So I can't ride with
See?
the Knicks anymore, man.
Nah,
I can't
see?
do it.
No,
But
you gotta ride for the
But
Knicks.
Kyrie is my
They're
favorite
so
player,
bad.
and he played for the Nets. So I'm waiting for
Yeah.
KD to come back next year, because then I'm going to a couple games, and hopefully I can.
And I bet you the tickets will still be more reasonably priced than the Knicks
It's 'cause Madison Square
MSG,
Garden.
where
That's
it's,
it.
even though
That's
the
it.
product on the floor is terrible.
But I would
still.
feel comfortable rooting for Brooklyn though, because at least it's still in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I'm a bandwagon completely, but now nowadays, I honestly, outside of music, I don't really do much. Like I'm a family guy. I like to be with my girl. I like to be with my son.
Absolutely.
So during the day, if I'm not at work when I'm working, I'm either literally doing music or I'm with my family. I've been trying to I was in the Army for a little while too. So
Yeah, the next question.
when I got out of that, when I came back originally, when I got out of the Army, I went to my high school a couple times to try to talk to the kids, but they're really strict about that now.
Yeah.
And they associate hip hop music with violence, so they
Yeah.
don't really
Vibe with that.
It's rare to get in there. I try to do it though because I didn't have that growing up.
Right.
Like somebody I could look up to from the city that was doing something positive.
Absolutely.
That could give like them hope to do something else.
Absolutely.
Like you don't have to. Like my message to the kids is really you don't have to shoot a basketball or rap to be successful. Like even though I'm doing one of those things, like anything is possible. And Syracuse is a really small market for anything. So like a lot of people don't even know about Syracuse. Like when I go out of town, they be like, "Oh, you from New York?" They assume I'm from the boroughs.
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm from Syracuse," and they go, "Stop making stuff up."
Right.
Like they either that or they just know, "Oh, Carmelo." Like that's all. And like I'm kind of getting tired of that because there's a lot of talent in the town, not just in music, but with everything.
Definitely. A lot of local talent I've noticed. But, you can get the benefit of the doubt at least a little bit because, you live in Syracuse now, but you have spent time living in, like, the Bronx, Queens, even Westchester, right? So,
Exactly.
I mean, what was life like bouncing around a little bit or being in those places from certain periods of time?
So my dad's family is from there. So it's kind of just like another home for me. So it became normal.
Right.
Like, by the time I moved there, because I didn't move there until 2016.
Okay.
Like, and started living there permanently.
Sure.
But it was normal being there. Like, it was kind of weird to break the little barrier because sometimes people in the city think that since you from upstate, you from like farms, you from like where it's cows at, and they think that like the culture of New York didn't get up here for some reason when it's only 3.5 hours up the road. So like it was cool when I first moved there to like break that barrier because they didn't even like I moved there, got a job. And the people I was working with didn't even know I was from upstate. So I'm rapping, they like, "Yeah, bro, we fire, Harlem." I'm like, "Nah, whoa, I'm not from Harlem, I'm from Syracuse."
Chill with that,
they like, "What?" And then they kind of try to front a little bit, but then they couldn't front because I'm like, "I'm with y'all every day." Like, because they was big on that, it's nothing like New York, which is, I agree with. Like, there's nothing like New York, but
Absolutely.
we're still in the same state, bro.
Big thing for me is like the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that difference. It's just not comparable.
Nah, it's definitely not. You're right about that. Like, I miss being able to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go get something
Facts.
from the halal.
Oh
like,
my
get
god.
some
Everything
halal,
closes
like,
around here at like 10. Like what?
at like 7.
Yeah.
Word.
So I got to ask too. Both you and Rainey have a son at home, right? 4-year-old son, and you were just telling me a funny story about how he's already starting to make his own music.
That's crazy.
You definitely want to share if you want to share that story, A, and B, just kind of talk about how since having a kid, what life has been like as a father.
So this kid, man, his name is RJ. So we in the house, and so I'm actually doing something in my house right now. We're doing a project. We had carpet on our stairs.
Right.
I ripped the carpet up, and we're just gonna stain it. So there's like a lot of carpet glue stuck to the wood because it's hardwood. So I had to go rent a sander, and the sander is mad loud. So we sanding, and I come upstairs when I'm done. I got sawdust all over me, and she like, "Yo, you hear that?" I'm like, "Hear what?" So I just stopped because the sander is loud. So I'm trying to readjust my ears to the environment. And he just in the living room just singing like, "I'm sorry I had to leave you." I'm like, "Yo, who are you leaving, bro?" Like, you 4 years old. But he was in there and like, he was actually singing, but he wasn't singing like a radio song. It's like his own little made up song. He had like probably 3 bars, but it was a consistent 3 bars. So
He remembered those.
yeah, he still remember it. We went to breakfast this morning. And I said it to him. I repeated it to him to see if he remembered it. And he started singing it again in the same tempo he was singing it yesterday. So I'm like, all right, maybe you wanna be a little singer or something.
Come to the
Be a
studio.
little light skinned boy. But since being a father, like, he changed my life though. Like, he definitely changed my life because me and his mom met. Like he's not my biological son.
Okay.
I've been in his life since he was 2 or almost 2, and he'll be 5 this year. So like, it was a big adjustment, coming from a world where I'm only responsible for myself to being in a world where I have like a dependent, like somebody that's like not even in the financial market because like it costs more to have a child, but like what I didn't notice that I'm still kind of learning. Like I didn't notice that like everything I do, he's trying to mimic me.
Yeah.
So it kind of make me like change the way I talk around them or like the people I bring around them or just like my everyday actions. I have to be mindful that there's a kid out here that wants to be just like me.
Yeah.
So it like there's stuff that's okay for me to do because I'm an adult, but that's not okay for him to do because he's a child.
Right.
So it kind of like made me more wise in a sense.
Yeah.
And it made me more cautious of my actions because now like, I said it in a song. I'm trying to think of the lyrics.
Said a lot of stuff about him in the
Nah,
song.
I'm talking about Advance, so the new song. It's not even on the album. But I said going back to trapping, some illegal that only get me bagged. I lead a past inside the past. My son out here, he need his dad. Like, when I think about doing stuff I used to do, I think about that now. Like, if I go to jail now, what's gonna happen to him?
Right.
And like, what's gonna happen to her? Like, she could stand on her own 2 feet, but still, like being a man is being there for your family. You get what I'm saying? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So he definitely changed me.
That's too easy to get behind and respect, you know? Like, absolutely. And a lot of people, too, like, it's kind of, you fall in love with, you know, the girl who has the kid, and it's like you're not always necessarily expecting to have to immediately play that, because like you have a baby, you know, you're 9 months and everything, so you kind of almost have that time to prepare, right? It's like that's awesome, man. That's great. So I guess outside of this tape that just dropped today, is there any other, like, you know, back to music for a second, it's like any other past bodies of work? I know you just dropped, back in late November, you dropped another tape too, where it was like you had that tape out, but then you got Industry Beats and kind of remade it and kind of took it another step up. So tell me about that.
All right, so in 2019 was big for me, because before 2019, I was doing like a project a year. I mean, like, between trying to find money for going to the studio and shoot videos, like, I guess I just wasn't as serious as I thought I was. And it's crazy because I used to think about it like, yo, I need to be signed right now. But now when I look back at it, if I would have got signed back then, I would have got dropped. Dropped or shelved. It would have been something, because like it's, when you do music, it's really hard to do other things. Like work and like be there for your family. It's just hard to balance everything. You get what I'm saying? Like, but if you really want to do it, you're gonna do it. But yeah, before 2019, I was doing like one project a year. So in 2019 in May, I dropped my first project on all platforms. So all the other ones before that was just on like that Piff and SoundCloud. But I dropped a project called Epiphany on all platforms, which is not up right now, and I'll tell y'all why after I tell y'all this story. But then after Epiphany in May, me and my boy Slick Fashions, I known him for like 10 years. Probably 10 years. We went to high school together. We did a collaborative project called Madagascar. Which won Album of the Year for Upstate. Shout out to Upstate State for writing that up. Yeah, and that's up like 25,000 streams right now. And that's crazy. On the platforms. That's more than I ever did. Epiphany probably had like 10,000. But then after Madagascar, we started working on Madagascar 2, which should be out later this year. But just in the mix of that, I just felt like I had to be doing something else. Like I have music out, but I just needed to be doing something else. So I did this project called the V Mixtape. It's like the remix except for the V Mix. And I just took all the industry beats and just bodied the ones that I like. I think I had like 25, 26 songs on it. It was like 26 songs on it. And I dropped like probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. I mean, and that was just like humbug. I just dropped it out of the blue. I just like, oh, I got all this stuff, I'm dropping. So then that led up to Vegas, and now I want to drop like 2 more projects before this year's over.
Nice. Where do you feel like you're at, like with the release of this project today? It's like, you know, everyone kind of, from what I have heard, drops a project and it symbolizes where they are, kind of what their reality is, what their, you know, their mindset is, that then and there in that time. Where do you think or how can you kind of describe that, you know, your point of your life with the release of this project?
So with music, I feel like, and this could be wrong because I always feel like this when I drop a project, but this project is definitely different than all the other ones. So I think I'm in a space right now, which is kind of what can be confusing sometimes, because I feel like I'm doing the best work I've ever done. So I feel like I'm in a position right now with the proper promotion that this project could kick some doors down. But at the same time, that's keeping me on my heels because I don't want to get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm in a point right now where this is the most serious I've ever been, and this is the most ready I've ever been. You get what I'm saying? And I only got to this point by learning and making mistakes. Like before, I'll drop a project and not even promote it and not even talk about it anymore and just be on to the next one. But I know now that like it's not even really about the music no more. Like when you get to a certain point, the music it speaks for itself and it'll sell itself if it's good. But now it's just about the business. So I'm just right now, I would say the space I'm in is just it's kind of like crunch time because everything I'm doing right now counts, and I can't afford to make no more mistakes or mispromote or just become complacent and be like everybody else.
I have a really interesting question. I think I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this. So having spent time, you know, in the New York metro area, and you're obviously the furthest along you have been as far as, you know, the rap stuff goes. But even so, have you noticed that difference? And if so, can you kind of elaborate on like that difference between being in like an area like that versus, you know, trying to make a name for yourself when you're all the way up here? It's like, it's got to be different, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So I used to hate it. Like growing up, I used to hate it. Like, yo, it's not fair. Like we don't have a big market. Like nobody's looking at Syracuse. But in a sense, like as I've gotten older and like done it more and learned and tried and failed, I actually appreciate it now because
because now like I've sat down with a couple labels, so now I noticed that like when I'm going and meeting with these people, they have like their expectations are down here for me or like for anybody, because like people, like you can imagine a label meets with a lot of people, so like the standard is just down here, and like I prepare myself to be up here. So like being from a small market makes you go harder, it makes you feel like you have to be better than people from big cities, and it makes you it just like it kind of gears you for the industry if you want it. So like I appreciate being from a small market because like I've put so much time in like writing and promoting and shooting videos, and it just makes you go so much harder because it's so much easier to be seen when you're in New York or Atlanta or LA. It's way easier to be seen, and now you just gotta like, and people respect it. Like when you pull up to a show in New York or a show in Boston or a show in Philly, they respect it because they never heard of your city, and they be like, damn, like this shit is fire.
But that's awesome. Like I think a great mindset to that, because you know it's harder to get noticed. I feel like just watch it from afar. Like if you're around New York City, right? I mean, I feel like when you say though that those expectations are kind of a little like lower, do they think that like less of your music? Do you think they listen to like they're prone to listen like expecting less, and then like it helps you in a way?
You know what? They do. They listen hard, and you know what? I don't even think they're listening for the talent. They're listening for more mistakes because they think that they equate being from a small market as being inexperienced. Yeah. But to anybody that's done their homework, you can be experienced. You know what I'm saying? So they're listening for flaws or what to tell me not to do anymore, and then they're catching the stuff that they want to hear, and they're like, damn. Yeah. Like when I just went and met, I won't say who the last label I went and met with is, but when I was meeting with him, I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's listening to the music, and like he told me to bring 6 songs. I had 30 songs on a flash drive. He played all of them, like all 30 of them, and he was just like so surprised, and he's like, yo, I heard of Syracuse because Carmelo, but I never heard of Syracuse for like a rapper or like for entertainment.
That's what you're working with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. So I guess the last thing I was curious about, and this could go anywhere from here, I guess, depending on how you answer this one, but what is one thing about T.Y Vegas that A, we haven't covered yet, but also more importantly, B, fans would be like, oh shit, like I would have never known that. Like what's something like interesting there?
I'm a big kid, bro. Like I'm a big kid. I feel like people listen to my music and like I sound so serious when I'm doing music, but it's because of the stuff I've experienced. But the stuff I've experienced doesn't really define my everyday self. You get what I'm saying? Like it's there, and I've experienced it and reacted off it. But it's an outlet, exactly. But I'm a big kid, bro. Like when I was telling you when I had hit you up, and I'm like, yo, bro, I'm not one of these Hollywood rappers. Like you don't gotta like worry about hitting me and seeing if I don't respond or if I respond in a way you didn't expect. But I'm an easy person to get along with, bro. Absolutely. But yeah, I think that's it. Most people are surprised when they meet me in person. Like if they listen to my music, when they meet me in person, they're kind of surprised. Yeah, so I think that's probably something I want the fans to know, that I'm an easy person to get along with. Like if you see me in public, don't be scared to come up to me. Like don't be scared to take a picture. If you want to take a picture, you could take one on your phone and my phone. Like we can both take the picture. Like I'm that kind of person. Like matter of fact, remember when that dude came from Watertown? Y'all know where Watertown is? You ever heard of it? It's like 75 miles away. Yeah. But when I dropped my tape last summer, was that 2 summers ago? That was the 5.
It was 2 summers.
Yeah, so that was 2 summers ago. He hit me up on Instagram. He was like, yo, I'm in Syracuse going to the mall to visit with my family. Yo, can you come to the mall so I can take a picture with you or buy your CD? I'm like, yeah, bro. And me and my girl, we was taking my son to Onondaga Lake Park, right? We was taking him to the park to ride bikes. And the park is right next to the mall. So I just shot to the mall real quick, gave him a CD. He was trying to buy it. I just gave it to him though, because you came from Watertown, bro. Like you don't got to pay me for this. Wow. So I took a picture with him and followed my Instagram. And he turned out to be one of my biggest supporters. So I rock with him. That's awesome. I forgot his name, but shout out to you, bro.
Wait, I have one question actually. If you could open up for any artist on tour, who would it be?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Breezy.
Might happen. Speak it into existence.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Chris Brown got like one because I respect his work, and I listen to. You'll be surprised if you go on my Apple Music library. I listen to Chris Brown. I think I got almost all his albums in my library. But that, and plus he has like the biggest fan base, like between him and Drake. Oh yeah. Like, so you can't lose. It's a win-win.
So Rainey, is there anything that this man, being the humble guy he is, hasn't said about himself? Him as a father, him as a rapper, as a person that fans gotta know. What we got for him?
I mean, he's a great father. He stepped up.
Yeah, he's great. I really appreciate everything he do with RJ. RJ really loves him. Like he said, he's a big kid, so I mean, sometimes they're annoying. They're running around making too much noise. But and yeah, he's my dictionary. Yeah. My personal dictionary.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
I used to read the dictionary, bro.
Yeah, I hear Eminem, like that's how Eminem got to where he was.
Right, exactly.
Kind of stuff.
One of the greatest.
Yeah. Shout out to M, bro.
Yeah, shout out to M. But that's T.Y Vegas for everyone, and be sure to follow him on Instagram, TYVEGA 5, and please, for your benefit, check out that new tape released today, March 1st. That's Vegas, titled Vegas, on all platforms.
On all platforms. But what I will say about that is a lot of people are having this problem. When you're looking for me on Apple Music and Spotify, spell T.Y Vegas, but make the S a $. I have to keep making the S different because there's so many different Vegases in the world. So it's TYVEGA $. If you're looking for me on streaming platforms. Vegas out now. Via Excellence, G's always shine. That's my acronym. I'm saying follow me on the gram. Follow Z89, the Juice. Absolutely. Shout out to them for having me in the building.
Absolutely. Our pleasure, my man.
Shout out to Rainey for bodying me on my project.
Our pleasure. See you guys later. For Harrison, for Megan, and for T.Y Vegas and Rainey. See y'all later.
When I turned 21, I took an oath and pledged allegiance to the flag. I ain't really take a rest since I said rest in peace to my dad. They diagnosed me with depression, post-traumatic stress, and shit was getting bad. I took the medicine in lab, did some shit you couldn't do so I could brag. Peep this, gun under my arm, speed stick.